Hi, I'm Maths44 and I'm starting an honor mode playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. So cards on the table, and you'll see when I start the run I have actually beaten honor mode before, and it was tough. There were a lot of close calls. I ended up skipping at least one boss, which was I think Answer, the dragon in Act 3. I thought I'd do this episode as like an episode 0 kind of thing. So there's not going to be any gameplay in this episode. I'll just be setting up the character, choosing what I want here, and just talking a little bit about the series and how I'm going to approach honor mode, just so that you can see if it's a series that you'd like to watch. Because I know some people have different gameplay styles, some people get heavy into the role-playing aspect of Baldur's Gate 3, and I'd just like to let you know what I'm about if you wanted to watch my videos. But if you did want to just skip ahead to the gameplay, I'm going to release episode 1 at the same time as this video, and hopefully I'll be getting through the Nautiloid and not dying. And if you do that, enjoy that video. Hope you enjoy the series, and I'll see you there. But otherwise, let's get into it. The first thing that I thought I should mention is that I'll be skipping through a lot of the dialogue. And it's only because I've played through the game like a few times now. Even though I've only completed honor mode once, I have done 2 or 3 other runs. And, I enjoy the dialogue, I like it. But I have listened to and read most or all of it, so I'm not saying it's a hard rule that I'll be skipping the dialogue. I'm just saying that if you're after a playthrough which it listens to all the good voice acting in the game, then this run might not be the one that you want to watch. I think I'm going to start with the halfling, by the way, just for this ability. I think it's super helpful in honor mode. It means that when you roll a 1, you get to reroll the dice, and that might save my life. And also I'll be picking naturally stealthy here, because the other one is poison, and I just don't remember that many times where I got poisoned in any of my Baldur's Gate playthroughs. So this is the race and sub-race I'll be going with. The second thing I wanted to mention is that I'm not going to be imposing any strict rules on myself, really. I don't think I've quite got the skill level to get through as a solo character or anything like that. I know people have got pretty crazy at Baldur's Gate 3. They can do amazing things. I don't think I'm quite there yet. So I'll be rolling through with a full party of 4, and I might respec now and then if I feel like it's necessary or more fun. But I won't be, doing any super hard restrictions, not using I'll just be playing a straight honor mode game through, trying to beat the game, which is difficult enough as it is, I think. But I'm also not about cheesing the game. And what I mean is, like, I'm not talking about stuff like stealing from Withers. If he doesn't watch his pockets, that's his problem. But one thing I know people do in honor mode is like they'd use hirelings to cast a load of buffs without having to use the spell slots on their main classes, so they can get their long strider up and all the other buffs you might want in a day, and they'd use hirelings. And actually it's a perfectly valid strategy. I've got nothing against it, and I don't really like, maybe cheese is almost too strong a word for that. Personally, I just think it's tedious. It's a bit, it's laborious, whatever you want to call it. Doing that each day, I'm not that interested in getting that deep. I beat the game in honor mode without doing that one time, so hopefully I'll be able to do that again. And I'll be going with the Bard. I think the Bard is a great character, for especially for honor mode. There's lots of dialogue in the game, and lots of dialogue where you kind of want the outcome to be something that you want. You already know what you want your outcome to be, but if you don't get the right role and you fail, that's it's kind of the blessing and curse of honor mode. It kind of forces you to deal with the consequences if something bad happens with the dice. And kind of the choices I've made so far here with the halfling bard means I'm minimizing the chances that the game can hurt me like that. So this is the class I'll be using, and for cantrips, I've actually never tried friends in honor mode entirely because of the tooltip it gives there that they might accuse me of enchanting them, which could, like, if it happens like that, I try and be friends with someone, I use this spell or cantrip even, and I make them enraged with me and I can't fix that, then I won't be too happy, so I'll avoid that. As for the other cantrips, I don't recall really using many of these in the run. Maybe I'll get a mage hand and a blade ward. I think that's fine. Let's see, have a look at these spells. Yeah, I don't think I need Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I know it's really good at making people prone, but I like to have my Featherfall and my Long Strider. It makes things really nice. Move further each day, and I can make jumps that you can't always do without taking damage. Utility spells is the right word. I do like my utility, and I like a healing ward available. Speak with animals is an interesting one. Maybe I could get rid of Dissonant Whispers for that. Maybe I'll respec later if I feel like that's super important. And the starting instrument, this brings me to another point I wanted to make. I'm not really super into roleplay, and I know that's a big part of Dungeons and Dragons. But I think this is part of what makes Baldur's Gate 3 a great game. It doesn't force you, or it doesn't force anyone playing it to be heavily invested in roleplay. I don't know how best to describe it, but I went to a couple of Dungeons and Dragons sessions, and personally, I bounced quite hard away from them. I don't know, something about the game style of being in character is just not for me. And Baldur's Gate 3 gives me the chance to play with those systems in a setting where I don't have to be in character. I can play it as a game. But what it means is that I'm not going to really ever be super committed to how the characters should be, and making choices whether a character would do something or not do something. For example, if there's a choice comes up and people think, no, Astarion would never make that choice. Astarion. Which way do you say that? I'll find out in game. But yeah, what I mean is that is not going to bother me. I might make choices that you really don't agree with during the game, and that's fine. Hopefully the series will still be fun for you to see how I play through, how honor mode is, if you haven't beaten it yet, you know. And it is honor mode, you got to give me some leeway because it is very difficult. But yeah, I don't ever find myself getting into the mind of characters like Astarion or Will and how they should be. I'll just be playing it as I would any other game, really. So hopefully that's not a problem. And all that to say, like, this choice here doesn't make any difference gameplay wise, so it doesn't really matter to me. I don't really mind what I pick. Maybe I'll just stick on let's stick on a violin, and then maybe if you want me to change it, drop a comment and I will, because it doesn't matter to me. If you want to hear the drum beat going when I'm making moves. Let's have a look at the background. I like having insight and persuasion, for sure. And that's kind of what I'm going with, I think. My other option would be sleight of hand stealth, but I'm thinking this is where my skill proficiencies are going to come into it. So I'm going to max out charisma because I want the rolls to be as good as I can get them. I'm going to get dexterity because I'm going to be going for a swords bard, so I can hit multiple shots in one turn, which I think is really nice. And then I'm going to get constitution. As for the others, I don't like having minuses really, but I will. I don't know really which of these is better. If I go for strength, then I can carry a little bit more and I can jump a bit further. I think that's... yeah, I think I like that more than intelligence or wisdom, even though these are valuable, don't get me wrong. So this is what I'll go with for now. But then the skill proficiencies, don't let me forget, because I don't actually think you need intimidation or deception as much. I think usually in situations where you could use them, persuasion is usually an option. And then I've always got the halfling reroll. I've got the what do you call them? You get 4 chances to reroll bad results. So I've got lots of options there, and I don't think, like, they're already at +3, which is good. I don't need them at +5. I think I'd rather make sleight of hand easier and stealth, maybe? Maybe stealth. Investigation's always an option. Yeah. Perception. I think this is good. I'm happy with this. Yeah, so this will kind of be my character. Get to the appearance. And again, the appearance doesn't really matter to me, so what I'll probably do is randomize a few times to get something interesting. What else do I want to say? I want to try and beat as many of the encounters as I can, so that's not going to be a strict rule. If I feel like I'm going to die, maybe I'll avoid something. I'll see when I get to it. Like, I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to be able to beat honor mode on the first try here. I got very lucky to beat it the first time I did it off camera. I should have died 3 or 4 times, I'd say, and I'll probably point out the fights that I would have died or should have died in when I get there in this playthrough. But yeah, I will try and beat as many as I can, so including the one I missed, which was the dragon. So let's have a look at appearance then. Generate a few ones. Yeah, these kind of can be a bit hit or miss. Yeah, I've got some interesting characters. Like I say, I know this will be weird to some people, but personally, I've never really cared what I look like in a game. Okay, this guy. Let me edit appearance. Let me choose female. Let me try pick a voice I haven't heard before. That woman actually sounds like... She sounds like a Diablo character. Let me go for voice 4. Let me take away the scarring. Body art. Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. Pick a colour for it. I know some people can spend like hours on this section of the game. And I'd never really, like, first of all, I'm not very good like at fashion or anything like that. And second of all, because I'm never even really looking at the face of the character. Interesting that she seemed to have different colour eyes there. Heavy makeup. Let's have a look at the hairstyle. I wonder how YouTube acts with the song here. I wonder if it gets copyright claimed. I doubt it. But if it does, maybe this series won't ever happen and you'll never be hearing this. But if you do, welcome. I hope you do enjoy the series. It should be fun. I'll be playing like through everything. I won't be doing much editing, so you'll see practically the whole game. And I hope that's something that you like. Can't really decide on a hairstyle here. Maybe I'll just go with something like that. Is it the colour that's putting me off? The grey teal. Let's get the grey out of there. And have like... What have we got? Some basic hairs. Maybe the hair is like the one thing that does interest me. Because I'm always looking at the back of the head as I'm running around. Oh yeah, look at that. I hope that doesn't look offensively bad to anyone, because that is what I'm going with. And I'm about to get started with the first episode. And like I said, that will be episode 1. This will be episode 0 here. But episode 1 should be available now. I'm going to upload them at the same time, so you can see some gameplay straight away if you wanted to. And it will probably cover me getting through the Nautiloid, maybe a little further, depending on how long it takes. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, setting up the character, and I hope you enjoyed the series. And I'll see you in episode 1.